I honestly don't even really know where to start. This is not scripted, and I'm kind of just saying whatever comes to my mind. So, um, I've always wanted to make a really personal and meaningful video, just because I feel like I want you guys to know me, and I want to also, be there for you guys, too. Especially since now I have so many of you that like watching me. So I never really thought that I was gonna talk about this. It's something really personal to me, but I feel like I'm ready to talk about it. So, most of you probably know that I recently started college, and so the first week that I had orientation, we had a really personal day where we everyone just shared personal things about themselves, and that was a really eye-opening day where I kind of realized that, well, I mean, I knew this, but it really hit home that you don't know what people have gone through, and it's, I don't even really know how to explain it, but it was just a really meaningful day. Anyways, so getting to the point, it was a really meaningful day, and it opened my eyes, and it made me realize that people have gone through things that you don't know about, you don't know their life. So I thought I would share something with you guys that is about my life, and it's a big part of who I am, and it's something that I went through. But also what made me feel ready to talk about this is that going into college I had to do sexual assault and alcohol abuse courses, just for awareness and stuff like that. And the sexual assault one made me kind of realize that it's something that I went through, and I never really admitted it to myself. Going through the course, there was a description of the signs to know that you're possibly in an unhealthy relationship, and when I read through those signals, they described my relationship on point. And I knew that it was an unhealthy relationship, but I never really accepted it. I didn't really he doesn't think he did anything wrong, and I kind of made excuses for him. But this was 6 years ago, so this was not recent. But it has always been on my mind, and I told myself that I was never going to tell anyone, and I told myself that the best way to deal with it was just to never speak of it again. But I'm finally decided that it's time to. So, I was 13 or 14 at the time. I was in 8th grade. It was my first relationship, and so I didn't really know what to do and what not to do. So he kind of made me do things that I didn't want to do, and he controlled me, he manipulated me, and yeah, he just made me do things that I was not comfortable with, things that I didn't want to do, and I kind of just did them. I just said and did whatever he wanted me to do, because he would blow up on me, he would yell at me, say really hurtful things to me if I didn't. So I kind of just went along with it. And I told myself that I was ready for it when I really wasn't. I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, I'm not going to go into any details or anything, but it was like inappropriate things that I just didn't want to do, and I just wasn't ready, and I was not comfortable with it at all. And I know that if it wasn't for him, I would never have done those things. So, and I had never told anyone that about my relationship, and this relationship lasted for a year, and being like a naive teenager in middle school and seeing all these people getting their first boyfriends and girlfriends, I just like desperately wanted that. And so I was in that relationship for a year, and I never really knew how to end it, even though I knew that I should have a lot sooner. It should not have lasted a year. But part of me didn't want to be like everyone else that like was in like a month relationship or in 2 months relationship. I wanted my relationship to be something special and not something like everyone else. It sounds really stupid, but that was what went through my mind at the time. So I kind of just stuck it out, and yeah, it wasn't a good relationship. We fought a lot, and for some reason I thought I was in love, but looking back, I know that that wasn't. Yeah, he would just say things that made me feel like he truly cared about me, but I mean, if he did, he would have never put me through what he put me through. So I know now that that was not love, and I learned a lot from it. So in a way, I guess it's kind of a good thing that I went through this at such a young age, because now I know what to look for in a relationship and what not to look for in a relationship. But the reason why I am doing this video is because I want any of you that have gone through the same thing to know that like you're not alone, and it's not your fault, and you shouldn't be letting people put you in uncomfortable situations, and just to know that like if something doesn't feel right about it, then you shouldn't just let it keep happening. And like what I've learned is that you have to learn to love yourself before you can love anyone else. And I mean, maybe you don't always like thinking about yourself, or you don't want to feel like you're being selfish, but in the end, you need to worry about yourself too, and you just need to look out for yourself. And I'm like really bad at giving like speeches or whatever, and like I said, this is not scripted, so I'm just kind of going with whatever comes to my mind. But yeah, I just want you guys to know that like if you're going through something like I did, that it's not your fault, and if something doesn't feel right about it, then you need to do something about it. And it might be scary, but you don't want to go through years of pain and hurt like I did, and I would not want that for any of you. I went through like a really like depressed and difficult time. It was really hard for me to get over it, and like, obviously 6 years later, it still affects me, and I'm still, like, it still feels like it happened just last year. And I'd never been, like, I never got closure. I never felt secure with myself after that. And honestly, after that, I never really talked to guys. And I didn't really have any guy friends because I just didn't know how. I didn't know how to talk to guys. I didn't know how to be around guys. And yeah, that was hard, and I felt like there was something wrong with me. Because, like, I always wondered, why don't guys talk to me? How come, no, like, in a relationship, you should not be forced into doing things that you are not comfortable with, because if they truly cared about you, they would not be forcing you to do things, and they would be respecting you, and they wouldn't be making you feel uncomfortable. I told myself that the best way to heal from this was to pretend like it never happened. And I realize now that that was not the best way to handle it. But it takes time, and you'll know when you're ready to talk about it. And for me, I don't know if this is how it'll be for everyone. Everyone's different. But for me, talking about it just felt like this weight was, like, lifted off my shoulders, and I felt like at that point I was finally ready to move on, and I was finally ready to be happy again. And I didn't feel like I was hiding this big secret anymore, and it just felt good to know that, like, I could finally tell the people that were closest to me. But like I said, it takes time, but it felt really good to talk about it. And in different situations, it might be too hard to talk about something, or you just feel like you can't do it, and that's perfectly fine. But you'll know when you're ready, and it'll feel so good just to be able to accept what happened in the past and learn from it, and then now move on into the future, and kind of just, like, you can't change what happened, but you can learn from it. So I definitely learned from that, and I feel like I'm a much stronger person because of it. And I guess that's kind of just the best way to handle these kind of situations. But yeah, it's just knowing that you're not alone, and there's probably someone close to you that has gone through something similar, and when you, like, I don't know, when you find that person, then it'll feel really good to know that someone understands you. And I don't know, that's just, like, a really comforting thing to know. So yeah. And just the feeling of releasing thoughts that's been on your mind for so long and has just been, like, weighing on you, and, like, for me it felt like I was just being haunted by those bad memories, because I would push them to the back of my mind and try not to let them come out, but at random times they would just be released, and they would just come back, and I couldn't do anything about it. I don't even know where I was going with that. But I just want this video to be a reminder to all of you guys that you're beautiful, you're strong, and do not settle for any less than you deserve. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I just really hope that this was able to help some of you guys, and I just want to be like a family and help each other out. And if you guys ever like need someone to talk to, just know that I'm here for you. And yeah, I just hope this helped you in some way, or you felt like you got to know me a little bit better from it. So yeah, the lesson of this video is that old doors close and new ones open, and everyone's gonna go through hard times, but I guess it's what we learn from it that helps make us a better person. So yeah, I really hope this helped you guys, and I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.